Hi everyone, I have an expansive message I wish to share with you all. And this message was evoked by a astral travel I embarked upon while I was in the bath listening to a powerful Om mantra. So I wrote this message to my mother. Through astral traveling, I am not able to withhold the information that I receive in these other dimensions. It flows in and flows out. So the only documentation or memory I have is either a video or something I wrote down. So on June 30th, at 9:54 a.m., I wrote this to my mother. The Piscean leaders used war to control people. Now war is going away. They're using health to control people. And that was given to me by an extraterrestrial, or you could say higher dimensional being while I was in this astral realm. And through my travels, I did see the planet is multi-layered. It's like there's dimensional realities smack on top of each other on this planet. Particularly the Middle East, I feel, is a dimension of itself. And in Antarctica, I do believe, well, I saw in this astral travel, there is a higher human race underground that is living a life. So we have the dimensional reality of the enlightened, and then we have the dimensional reality smack on top of it of the reptilian that is primarily concerned about survival, the fight or flight mentality. So what guided me to make this video was watching a pineal gland video, and it opened me up. It opened me up to what is really going on in this planet. Why is the planet unhealthy, unstable? Why are we all neurologically, chemically, hormonally imbalanced? What is taking place? Behind the illusions of the commercialism and the consumerism of, happy people seeming jolly, happy-go-lucky, what is really taking place behind that facade of everything is good, we got it going good? And I do believe the planet, us as infinite beings, Earth as infinite beings, dimensional realities, in the astral traveling, everything is perfection. But I do believe we can get into patterns. It's like a train, and it just keeps going and going on the same track almost endlessly. And we're riding on that train, continuing the same things. What I feel the message is to give you guys, what is taking place on Earth right now with the imbalance, meaning even Neil deGrasse Tyson has announced that we are, as a planet, moving towards the red zone when it comes to global warming, the point of no return, the point of you kind of just have to pray that the tsunami won't come or an earthquake won't happen, because once you get in the red zone, the planet starts becoming very chaotic. The chaos is a form of trying to clear, heal, and push out the toxicities that us as humans have created. So the toxicities, the processed food, the fluoride in the water that I like to say depresses our pineal gland. And our pineal gland in all ancient cultures are represented as the the soul, the point in us that can make the correlation between I to infinity is the pineal gland. So when the pineal gland is depressed through fluoride, through the processed food industry, even through the commercialism, consumerism, all of the distraction, even the noise and music, the low frequencies that muddy up our pineal gland's sight, foresight. We have a society that is quite confused, and through that confusion there is, getting to conspiracy talk, individuals that use that confusion to control. I don't really like to talk about control and deception, because when I even tap into that energy, it's like I'm tapping into the beast itself, which is not something, really lighthearted, the beast. But what I feel is that we are on this train ride, and it started on, I don't even know if it started on Mars, but we did live on Mars millions of years ago. Millions of years ago. And Mars was very much like Earth, kind of like the sister planet. I do believe Mars and Earth were called sister planets during the time Earth was probably about to step into the era of the dinosaur. I feel Earth was not inhabited by these extraterrestrials, aka human before the human, because Earth was in this state of finding its groove, finding its niche when it came to plant life. And dinosaurs were a very good element to spreading the seed of plant life, because the little running and going over here and going over there and carrying with them the plant life, carrying with them. So I feel Mars, like what's going on the planet on Earth right now, we were using a lot of the resources, and we were draining Mars big time. So what happened is we reached that point of no return, that red zone, through kind of what's going on right now, except it was the same thing, just covered up differently. Same thing, covered up differently. So we moved to the sister planet, which is Earth. And what happened is we didn't really learn anything from the Mars, from the Mars stepping into the red zone and the chaos just started global chaos, the planet. Now we're here at Earth, and we're kind of going into the same thing that happened on Mars, except we have movers and shakers, light workers, such as myself, and if you're watching this, you're probably a light worker, who is wanting to kind of derail this train off of this sameness path. Being on the train for eternity, going down this path where we use all the resources from the planet, and we go to the next planet. And you can see in the scientific community, especially astronauts, there's this desire to want to seek another planet, because when we were on Mars, we had the same sort of habit. When things get hard, when we use all the resources, let's go look for another planet. It's kind of like use it all and then move to the next thing. So that's the pattern we've been in, collectively. But right now, we have this crossroads, and you'll see a lot of people are on the fence about themselves, and about either they're going to continue on this infinity road, they've been on this for lifetimes, hundreds of lifetimes, or they're going to go on this other path, the path of newness, the path of not cycling into the same thing again and again. So there's this crossroads, and people are smack in the middle of it, very confused. And the commercialism, the consumerism, and the fluoride in the water, and the commercialism, consumerism, all of that is stalling. Is stalling the pineal gland's great insight, mind-blowing insight. Because when you have that clarity, that true clarity, the ability to astral travel, the ability to connect with all the dimensions, see things for what they are, which I've been practicing on and working on, there is no desire to want to depress yourself through foods, through a lot of times it is with the food and the commercials and the consumerism and the water, because it creates this chemical imbalance, this hormonal imbalance, this neurological perspective that is quite altered by this muddiness from the sounds, from the TV, from the subconscious, I like to say the subconscious crap that's being dumped into the movies and into the radios. And many people would see it's just a conspiracy. But the world is unhealthy. Because I can see it when I go out and I see there's a pile of trash. This pile of trash little near my house, and I see it when I'm walking my dog. And I had foresight, glimpse of the future. It's like a dimensional possibility, as there's infinite possibilities in the realm of physics. And I saw future humans that didn't even really look like us. They're really advanced, enlightened humans. Their whole physique was changed. Their brain size, the volume in their skull was the more highly charged minds, very electromagnetic, like fireworks, like lightning in their brain, but I can't even describe is more than what we have going on, the electricity. So I saw underneath the soil, deep underneath the soil, like there was like fossilized trash. That these people from the way in the future, you come across this aluminum trash that's fossilized. So I got this weird, icky kind of feeling, but then I also felt this feeling of relief, because I saw that the layers above, that layer that represents the early 20th century trash, it was clean. It was vibrant. It had vitality. It's just that layer of the early 20th century is quite dirty and chemicals. So what can we do? It's a good question. What can we do? Because, I could talk about conspiracies and all of that, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter about the discussions of there's evils in the world and there's darks trying to control us, because that itself just drains your energy. What you need to do is to open up your pineal gland through being vigilant of what you're eating. What are you watching? Are you watching just the dump of the nightmare subconscious? Are you watching that? This dump of nightmares. You're just going to take it in, and you're processing it, and it gets inside of your aura. The foods, organic. If you can't read the labels, which most of the foods at the store, Kroger, whatever store, all of the ingredients, I have no clue what they are. Try to stay clear away from that, because it's chemicals, and the pineal gland is depressed by the chemicals. It can't really function right. So what we want is us connect I to infinity, which the pineal gland is the portal, is the bridge between I to infinity. And when we can connect with that, we can find our sense of clarity, find our sense of visionary self. And through our visionary self, we are in our genius consciousness. And the genius consciousness can come up with ideas. Ideas. The world needs ideas. And that takes you going within you. There are many spiritual speakers, healers, shamans, speakers of empowerment, of how to love yourself, how to heal your life, which are all important. All important. Light workers shining is going to help us get out of the cycle that's maybe started way before Mars, when we left Mars to go to Earth, because Mars, we went into the red zone, and now we're going towards the red zone on Earth. But we need you really getting into your visionary, imaginative self. Imaginative is understanding the eye to infinity, connecting with the astral realm. When you can really feel the astral presence, you won't have much fear of death. The fear of death comes from that almost the feeling of disconnecting. You don't know how to travel. Because when you die, what you do is you astral travel to another dimension. And these dimensions are not fixed dimensions. These dimensions are a part of the creation. You're a creator. Creation isn't fixed and it's just unmovable. It is you being a creator. You making decisions. And right now there's not really any decisions because we're at the crossroads. Should I stay on the known path and just be my reptilian self and just survive and the fight or flight? The money is a thing. It's like an entity of itself that primarily keeps us in our reptilian, the flight or fight. For example, I feel there are a lot of celebrities and individuals of great influence that, like me, have channeling abilities and have these messages about what's going on, the deeper layers, the celestial of what's going on, but they don't vocalize because they're bound to the dollar bill. The fear of losing the dollar bill, the fear of poor is great. The fear of poor is so deep in our collective consciousness that we are willing to deceive, we are willing to just allow kind of like just, the world, I don't really care, just so we can keep this, whatever it may be, this consistency of the money inflow. But the Aquarian age is changing, and the Aquarian age is an important age, and it's interesting how it's all divinely orchestrated. That's what I say. There's a perfection here. There's a perfection of our craft, because we're infinite creatures. Like I said with karma, individuals can be in karma, the cycle of doing the same thing again and again for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, and that's okay, because we're infinite, and eventually it will become clear to us that what we need to learn and, kind of move on. It's like we can only be in the 5th grade so many times. In the infinity realm, this world, you can only be in the 5th grade once, repeat once, but in the infinite, you can repeat as many times as you choose if you feel needed to learn the lesson. Okay? To learn the lesson. And how you learn the lesson is when you have the clarity, when you have the focus, the determination to make a decision that isn't of the same. And it can be very hard. I've known individuals that have changed. Very difficult. It's almost a feeling of suicide. I'd rather make suicide than have do this change. But they know they gotta do it because they have learned the lesson. Once they've gotten through that real fear, that almost like suicidal feeling, a really deep fear of that change, because they're getting out of the cycle, the sameness of happy-go-lucky because everything is comfy and cozy for many lifetimes, and slightly bored and no real spiritual growth, kind of just like flatline for thousands of years or hundreds of years. Once they can get over that, it's like you've graduated. And Egyptians, all ancient cultures talk about ascension. And I feel ascension is about a mastery. It's not a you die and let's mummify you as a ritual to help you ascend. I mean, I feel in ancient Egypt, the ritual, the mummification, I feel had to do with a guide, you go to the astral realm, to your next life, to your next dimension. But I feel the very essence of ascension, has to do with the activating of the pineal gland through connecting I to infinity and mastering whatever you wanted to master. Because we have the zodiac wheel, and our life is very much like the phases of the moon, the phases of these ever-changing zodiac signs, the 12. These lessons, and a lot of times we play out these same configurations like our birth chart, again, until we master it and move on. So the crossroads, it's simply a hesitation to move on. It's a stalled. You're stalling. We're stalling ourselves. Because it's hard to turn the train all the way around into a different direction. It almost takes a miracle to do that. Some matrix stuff. But it can be done through the clarity and through the focus and the determination on the inward seeking, on you becoming the creator again. You becoming the visionary. A creator is, yes, we read books, How to Heal Your Life, but it's using that as a tool to help you discover what is your originality. Because if there's infinite out there, infinite wisdom, even Guru Bhajan is saying about our greatest success is our originality being practiced on this planet. The self-help book is great, but we have many public speakers speaking about the self-help book, but just changing the words around. The depth of our pineal gland, the depth of our beingness, the mastery and the moving on, and what's going to really get the world changing out of this cycle is us stepping into our visionary self. Stepping into what is our dimension. It's like we're all dimensions, like Dr. Seuss and J.K. Rowling and C.S. Lewis, the storyteller of Narnia. All I see are dimensions. All are dimensions, and that dimension, they're like the builder of that realm. Dr. Seuss is the builder of this world that you see in the Dr. Seuss books. Like he is the creator of that dimension. That dimension actually exists out there. So I feel like we need to step into our creator, but that only comes through working on the pineal gland. Working on the pineal gland and being a creator of a dimension, and placing that dimension in this matrix system, and that dimension helping the other dimensional realities that are happening, such as the Middle East, the reptilian fight or flight, and the enlightened dimensions, and the Tibet, and the Lemurian and Antarctica and underground, all of that. Helping to keep vitality alive on planet Earth. Not just vitality as in health in actual Earth and the human body, Earthling's body, but the desire to want to experience Earth. It's like we get bored and let's move on. Like Mars, I feel like we had fun, we got bored, let's move on to Earth. Earth is the next thing. To actually create Earth, help remind people Earth is never something to get bored of, never something to just, oh, let's move on to the next. Because Mars was very sacred. Mars had a lot of beautiful ideas, but they're kind of forgotten. they're there in the astral realms, but we don't know how to travel the astral realms, so it's kind of just floating around, not really being used, just floating around. There was species on Mars. There was great valleys and great rivers, great stories, like Dr. Seuss probably, great stories, great visions, great inventions. But because of the boredom and the lack of valuing such abundance and sacredcy, not seeing the sacredness, it's kind of, now Mars is a wasteland. It's like barren. It was once brilliant, now it's barren. And I feel a part of our going to Mars as a planet to terraform is a way to make peace with Mars. It's like great stories. It's like you go to your childhood home and you make peace. You had so much fun, but there was also chaos, and there was bad times, and there was good times. It's just making peace. It's like returning there. It's like you're gaining memories. Memories flood your mind. I think that's why we want to go to Mars, because there's some ancient teaching, like in your childhood, that we've forgotten, and we want to somehow spark our memory by going there to terraform. And the memory of it, of our lifetimes, of millions of years on Mars, will bring back the ancient teachings. The ancient teachings that maybe we didn't master on Mars, and we carry to Earth. And maybe then we could see we have an opportunity to master whatever it is we couldn't right here and now, by deciding, no, I'm not bored with Earth. No, I do care. I do care about Earth, about the continuation of the many stories to unfold on Earth. So I'm going to put my big girl pants on, and I'm going to challenge the system. And there's obstacles, the processed food, commercialism, consumerism, the fluoride in water, but that's okay. That is okay, because this is all part of the perfection. This is helping me to go stronger, to grow stronger, because to break the cycle, who knows how long the cycle's been going on, is going to be the most rewarding thing, to break it. And to see that we are actually capable of the Matrix stuff in the movie. We are actually capable of breaking the train, stopping the train, and to turn the train around to go in a new direction, a new path, a new ascension. And that is how we ascend. And the tools that have been given to us throughout the ages, thousands of years, these metaphors and scripts and stories, pictographs, right? So all of these tools that the ancients have been helping us along, because they knew that we would one day get the metaphor. We'd one day get it. And we'll one day know how to ascend, know how to allow the death of the pattern for a rebirth. Find our originality. And find our originality, we'll find the sense of freedom. We'll be creators. And creators, the sacredness of all things. The planets. Other people's sacredness. Other people's spiritual growth. It's not something to fear. It's not something to back away from. It's not something to just say no to for, I gotta just survive and make that dollar. It's going to become something that is most important, because you have infinite time, and that dollar bill is not as important. The fear of it. Because if you have fear of it, you're not a creator. You cannot have fear of it and see yourself as a visionary, as a inventor, somebody who travels the astral realms and can see all the ancient teachings in front of them and knows how to integrate it into their vessel through their hands, through their voice, through their movement. So learning our originality is the most important. We could focus on the conspiracies and the evils and the powers of be. But they have their own agendas, but we have our own. And the stronger we become, and the stronger we become, we are gods. We are omega creations, creators, inventors, geniuses. And right then and there, Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, Albert Einstein, Nicholas Tesla, all of these genius consciousness is just some of infinite, really, there are. We can, a single person, a group, can truly monumentally change the fabrics of what we think is a path, sameness, what we think is the way, what we think is the yoga. We can do that. So I wanted to share these thoughts with you guys, and I hope this video inspired you to go out there and be imaginative, be original, be your own creator. Create something that is entirely from you. You can read books and find all the tools. Go a little deeper. Find your visionary self. Astral travel. Ascend while you're in this body. Practice the ascension. The seeing everything from a perspective that is not just the perspective of groupthink. Think thoughts that are weird or strange or peculiar. Because I'm telling you, the peculiarness is a sign that you have astral traveled, that you have connected with I to infinity, that you have connected with the ancient Egyptian practice of navigating through this ever-changing cosmic flow, and you are ready to spiritually grow. You are ready to value spiritual growth, value the change of your being, the ascension of your being, the desire to be a courageous spiritual warrior, like an archangel. You can do that. Because all else is perfect. All else is perfection. It truly is. All you can do is be a master of your own life. And know that that is enough. That is enough. The prayer, the spiritual growth within yourself, that is enough to truly bring back the desire to want to experience Earth in its greatness, in its storytelling, in its abundance of life, in new ideas and inventions and visions. You can do that by being a testimony of someone who actually goes out there and embodies that. Who embodies, truly loves to be in a world that has stories, ideas, and inventions that are everywhere. That is the medicine. And sharing it is the message. The message that we of Earth came to love. So today, let's love. We, the people of Earth, we, the Earthlings of Earth, came to love. Love is create, share, care. So let us love today.